Okay, so if you need assistance with this geometry section, this video is for you. If you don't, we'll keep trucking through and checking your answers as you go. So the first thing I would implore you to do, and I've asked you to do on DayMap, is can you please read your textbook and make some notes? So a couple of things like, do you remember what complementary angles mean? So they add up to 90 degrees. Angles that add up to 180 are supplementary, and so on. So remind yourself of these properties. We should know all about the different triangles. Okay. And we know that all the angles together around a revolution or around a circle add up to 360, 180 in a straight line, etc., etc. These you should be familiar with from year 8. Some of the ones that you might have forgotten are your parallel lines. So I like to think of these corresponding. You can see that it forms an F there. One slides onto the other, and those two are said to be equal angles corresponding. Here we've got forms like a bit of a Z, and that's called Alton angles. They are the same, and then you can get a U shape or a back to front C. I mean, it goes here as well, but these two angles inside parallel lines add up to be 180 degrees. So really, when we're doing this question here, you're just trying to match. So if you have a look with this one, we can see that we can make that Z shape there, and so that matches this theorem here, which means they're alternate angles, and it says that they're the same. So it's a simple matter of just going over here, and we will say y equals 61 degrees, but you have to put the reason, and I'm happy if you just write alt. If you would like to write alternate, feel free, by all means do so. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. So we look here, and you can see that this sort of slides down, and you could form this upside down F shape there. So slide it on down. Which one does that match with your rules here? It's not this, that's the Z, that's like a C or a back to front or an upside down U, but it's this one here, so the slide corresponding. So back we go, and we can say simply that X equals 103 degrees because they are corresponding. That's my shortcut for corresponding. And last but not least, if you're a betting individual, you'd sort of say, well, it must be the last one that they're going to do. And we can see the general shape here again. You can see that we've got two angles inside the parallel lines. Needed to have those arrows on, actually. So they're at the top, they're at the end. So what does that rule say? Over here, they have to add up to be 180 degrees. Now, co-interior allied, also you could call it supplementary, whatever you're in the mood for. So in this case, we would say that X equals 180 take 127 degrees. Why? Because they are allied angles, and that would make it 53 degrees. So pretty simple. It's just matching up and looking at the theorems that you have there. And as I said, you might have forgotten them a little bit from year 8, so write them down neatly in your page of notes and see how you go. So you should stop the video here and carry on with the other questions, and I'm going to leap to these couple, which is a bit later on, just because they involve a little bit more algebra. So when you get up to that, maybe go back and look at the video to see if you can get some assistance. Okay, so pause and go and attempt those other questions. Right, so now if you're watching these, simple matter again of matching up and seeing what is happening. And so with this one, we see a straight line. We know there's 180 degrees in a straight line. So we write that in mathematics, and we'd say 2h plus h has to equal 180 degrees, because we know there's 180 degrees in a straight line. And if you're asking, do I have to put this reason? Yes, you do. And the simplest of algebra now takes place. I've got 2h plus another h, which gives me 3h. And I'd like to think that your times tables are brilliant, that you could tell from here that 3 6s are 18, therefore h must be 60. But if you couldn't see that, you weren't in the mood, or you just wanted to show a lot of working, you're saying to get rid of a times 3, you would divide by 3, and therefore we get our 60 degrees, which we sort of knew was coming. All right, what about this one in the middle here? Your eyes should be drawn here to our parallel lines, and we go, well, what goes on there? And we could see, it could slide either way, but this angle can slide over to here, so we know that that is G because of corresponding angles. So go back and look at your diagram for corresponding, and now that we've got that, this is a similar situation to D, where we can say that 2G plus G has to equal 180 degrees because there's 180 degrees in a straight line. And I won't repeat the rest of it. It's the same as that, just a different variable. Instead of H, you've got G. So I think you can take care of that yourself. Now what about this? Again, we look at the information that's given to us, the clues, if you will, and they're parallel. So you go back and we go, which theorem does that look like? And it's clearly this one, where we've got two angles inside parallel lines, and they say it adds up to 180. So that's exactly what we write. We say this angle plus this angle has to equal 180. We don't keep it in our heads, we write it down on paper. So 2x take 30 plus x has to equal, that's Lucy in the background, 180 degrees. And we should squeeze our little reason in there because they're allied. Now we're going to tidy up. We've got 2x plus another x. That's going to give me 3x. Still got the take 30 there. We now want to get rid of this take 30. Opposite of take 30 is plus 30. So we add 30 to this side and minus 30 disappears. And what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So we end up with 3x equals 210. I don't want 3x, I just want x. So how do I get rid of that? Times 3. I can hear you saying, yep, you divide by 3. And there we have it. So x is 70 degrees. Done. So again, I'm hoping that you're pausing these and you're actually completing them before you see the answer that I've got and my answers match yours. I'd also like you to make sure you can see how it's being set out, that you're showing your steps clearly. So I'm going to go on and now solve these ones. But again, I ask you, please have a go first and then compare your answers to mine. Okay, so stop that video and give it a go yourself. So with G, the first thing we see is we've got a straight line here. What do we know about a straight line? The angles have to add up to be 180. Again, write that down. You just write this angle, so 2x plus 15 plus x plus 30 has to equal 180 degrees. Now, because there's a plus here, we don't need the brackets. They're useless to us now. And we don't forget, always give your reason there, 180 degrees in a straight line. So now, a bit of algebra, gather your like terms. 2x plus x, 3x, 15 plus 30 is 45. And now this is pretty similar to a previous question that we've just done. We want to get x by itself. Let's get rid of a plus 45. Opposite of plus 45 is take 45. 180 take 45, 135. And therefore, to get rid of the times 3, we're going to divide by 3. And because my calculator's not handy, I'm just going to leave it like that. Okay, there isn't a number that goes into 3 and 135, so that's cancelled down to its lowest form, and I can leave it like that. That's fine. Okay, you have got this one. We know by now that this right angle triangle, this little symbol here means right angled, so we're going to say that this angle plus this angle adds up to be 90 degrees, complementary, and work that out, check your answers. Let's do this last one. Clearly this one all the way around gives us 360 degrees. So you need a bit more room for this one. We'll write this out. It's going to be, I'll start with 3x and just go round and around. So 3x plus 30 plus x take 31 plus 67. That all has to equal 360 degrees. Time to simplify. Gather all your x's. I've got 3 plus another 3, so we've got 6 plus one more here, 7x. Again, I hope you are just checking. If you just needed that start, pause the video, stop, and then see if you can work it out for yourself. So we're now going to gather these like terms. 30 take 31 is minus 1, and then plus the 67. I've got plus 66 equals 360. The 7 and the x are together. They'll be separated last. To get rid of the plus 66, we shall, yep, you've got it, take. So 7x equals 294. That's what 360 take 66 is. If you'd like to write that in, do so. And to get rid of the times 7, we're going to divide by 7. So that's 294 over 7. And we will work this out on the calculator because that gives us a nice number of 42 degrees. And I just checked while I was using this, this is also a nice number. Should have known. There is a number that goes into both, 3. So those are our answers there. So hopefully that helps and you didn't have to look too much at it. So keep progressing, and once you finish the set exercises, please attempt your assignment on paper and do it neatly. Thank you very much.